Okay, so we're going to do a really nice, gentle sequence of poses that help to quieten down a frazzled mind. So if you've had like a horrible, busy day, if as like Charlotte, as you said, if you've been stuck in traffic all day, there's nothing more frustrating than that, is there? So this is a really nice sequence that just brings some quietness and some serenity. So we're going to start off with a spine lengthening pose. So get your folded blanket and unfold it so that it's in this type of fold. And then place it on the floor and then fold it down the center. So the long end, fold it down the long end, and then fold the long end again so that you've got this little mini bolster for your back. So if your blanket has a lot of hemming like this one, then have that, turn it around so that you have that for your head end and not for your back end, because that that will feel uncomfortable in your back. So we're just going to use this for our back, and then a bolster for underneath your knees. If you haven't got a bolster, you can just use cushions, and then have a blanket nearby just in case you get cold. So wear warm clothes if you can. Be in a dark room, or you can use one of these eye pillows. I'm a bit dark actually, aren't I? You can use one of those eye pillows. So sit yourself with your knees, with the bolster underneath your knees, and then bring the bolster so that you're not quite sitting on it, but then you lift the chest and you lengthen the spine along the blanket. Then get hold of the end and roll it up so that it becomes a little cushion for your head. And then just adjust the position of your bolster. I always think that putting the bolster in the kind of back of the calves towards the knees rather than in the back of the thighs, it helps to get length in this spine lengthening pose. So just find your comfort. Just observe how the folded blanket presents the sensation of spine elongation. Just laying on the floor is a lovely release. So get comfortable. Remember, this isn't necessarily a practice of enforced stillness. If you're not comfortable, then adjust the blanket underneath you, adjust the position of your legs, adjust the position of your head or your arms. Just allow the body to just release. Remembering that comfort is our priority. Breathe evenly and deeply. Just listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. So this pose is an energizing pose. Just gently elongating the spine. Gently elevating your energy. Just listen to the breath and allow the body to release into the floor, feeling how the blanket provides a sense of spinal elongation. After a little while, maybe you notice that you begin to release a little more. Quietening the brain. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster, and then gently roll yourself off the bolster and then come up into a seated position. Just sit in cross legs and just observe for a moment the energy that you have released just through our simple spinal elongation pose. Okay, so we're going to move into a reclining pigeon. So this is a really, really nice pose. So you might want a blanket, and you'll want a blanket, and you'll want a bolster. So you can have the bolster underneath your knees, and then you put the blanket over the top of your left thigh, and then bring the right leg just to sit on top of the left thigh. Have your arms out to the sides, and then release into the floor. Now, if you don't need that, then you can do it without. It feels nicer in some ways to use it without the blanket, and you might want the blanket for underneath your head. So just bolster underneath your knees, and then you might want to bring the bolster up to the back of the thigh a little so that the knee is supported by the bolster as well. If this knee feels like it's just floating in the air, then you can get a block and just place that underneath the knee, or a folded blanket underneath the bent knee. So just allow yourself to just release into the mat. Just observe how your back, your spine feels. Perhaps it feels energized and long from the last pose. Be aware of that energy that you have created. And connect with the energy of the spine. And then stay where you are, just straighten the top leg, just rest down into the mat and the bolster for a moment. and then bend the left leg, and then bring the left foot onto the top of the thigh to the right side. Again, just if need be, just put a folded blanket or a block underneath that thigh if it needs a little extra support. Or adjust the position of the bolster so it comes into the backs of the thighs to support the bent knee. And when you're ready, just straighten your leg and just rest down into bolster and into the floor. Just observing how the hips feel elongated and opened. And then bend your knees and then roll onto your side and sit yourself up. Just come again into a cross-legged position. Just observe how your energy subtly changes, even though this practice is incredibly gentle. The energy that comes from staying in the pose is fairly profound. Have your bolster for your upper half, and we're going to do our grounding spinal twist. So this is a lovely pose that just gently turns your back. So have your knees bent with your hip close to the end of your bolster, and then lift and open the chest. Drive the chest along the bolster and then rest your head with the chin in the same direction as your knees, and then allow yourself to release down onto the floor. If the bolster feels a little low, then you can always use a blanket on top of that. Just fold it down the middle, and then you can give yourself just a little more height. Again, just adjusting the equipment as you go. So just resting into the bolster. Have your elbows wide enough apart so that you're not supporting your body with your arms. You're letting the bolster take the weight of the body. Just close your eyes and just enjoy this simple spinal twist. bend your elbows, push your hands into the floor, and then just come up into seated position. Just again, just stay in cross legs, just observe how your energy has changed. And then when you're ready, just come over, keep the bolster where it is, and then just come over onto your other side. So the other hip is close to the bolster. Remember, lift and open the chest as you draw the front of the body along the bolster. Let the head roll over, rest on the side, so that your chin is in line with in the same direction as your knees. And then just gently release. This grounding spinal twist. So this sequence of tranquility and relaxation is particularly beneficial for preparing the body and the mind for sleep. So you may feel it's a little early to prepare for sleep, but it means that the rest of your evening can be calm and restful. So much as it would be nice to stay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and sit yourself in cross legs and just feel the energy. Just that intense feeling of lightness that comes from working through the poses. We're going to do supported child's pose. Now you need at least one bolster for this. Two is nice. If you haven't got two, then you can use a bolster and a blanket. You might want to put the blanket on the top or on the bottom underneath the bolster. Just have the bolster between your two knees, and then just come forwards and rest your head on one side. Rest the arms on the floor, either side of the shoulders. So there's no need to extend or stretch. And you may want to just alternate the position of your head. Maybe you want to put it on one side, then the other, just to give your neck a nice stretching sensation. Remember, you can just alternate the position of your head. So this pose just gently releases the spine. Okay, and then push your hands into the floor, just come up into a seated position. Just stay seated on your feet for a moment. Again, just feeling the shift of energy. And then just move your bolster out of the way, and then if you've got a chair handy, or if you haven't, you can put your legs onto a bed or onto a little table. Just come down onto your back, the legs up the chair, so that the legs are supported by the seat of the chair, and your back just releases gently into the floor. So this is a gentle inversion that suddenly feels really lovely on your back. Support in your back, around the shoulders and around the spine. And the gentle inversion just gives the immune system a little boost. Maybe you can feel your energy flowing as you recline on the floor. Maybe your mind feels a little quieter. Skin around the face feels a little softer. Skin around the skull feels soft. Skin around the ears feels soft. So as we lay here, just spend a little time just acknowledging things in your life for which you feel grateful. However large or small, just focus on things that bring positive energy into your life. Just draw them into your mind's eye and hold that feeling of the positive energy that it brings in the heart area. Give thanks for that blessing, and then move on to the next. Just building a feeling of positive abundance in your heart area. When your mind stops creating new things to be grateful for, just sit in the positive energy. Draw in those things that bring positive experiences into your life. Now dwelling on those things that bring us positive experiences gives us a sense of abundance and of well-being and of gratitude for things in life that we appreciate. And then just bend your knees, just roll onto your side, take your feet off the lift, and then just move the chair out of the way or shuffle yourself away. And then we'll finish with our basic relaxation pose. So a couple of blocks for underneath your feet, a blanket folded into just a basic pillow for underneath your head, covering yourself over for warmth if you need it. So just for the last few minutes, just allowing ourselves to just release into the floor, holding on to that feeling of positive abundance. As you release the body, observe that feeling of lightness that comes from within, rising up towards the top of the skin. Almost a tingly feeling of well-being. So the body is full of pure white light. Just basking in that feeling of lightness and completion. Using your breath to direct that lightness down into the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers, and into the top of the head. ready to disturb yourself, just gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, gently bend your knees and rest your feet on the bolster. Just have the knees together, feet apart. Just observing that feeling of brightness and energy. And then roll over onto your right side. Stretch out your top leg and then come up into the seated position. Just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose, down into your abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your gentle practice this evening, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean, energetic lightness that replaces the fatigue that we were experiencing at the beginning of the session. And then gently draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then when you're ready, release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though your energy is, well, to not put too fine a point on it, completely transformed. Maybe your frustration earlier on has turned into good, positive energy now. So thank you very much for joining me.